Gilmore Girls and make it make sense. On today's edition, we're going to be talking all about Logan, Rory, season 7, and A Year in the Life. I've always wondered what happened to Rory's job on the Obama campaign and Logan's job in California. It seems like A Year in the Life makes no mention of either, and Logan is living in England. Do me a favor, let me know what you were doing 9 years ago. And the last time you mentioned that thing you were doing 9 years ago to someone else. Why? Because it was 9 years between the end of season 7 and the beginning of A Year in the Life. I don't know about you, but people normally don't talk about what they were doing 9 years ago. Except me, because hi, I'm Valerie. I worked on Gilmore Girls 25 years ago, and I also worked on A Year in the Life 9 years ago. I share a lot of fun facts from behind the scenes, which are only possible when you engage with this post on your FYP. So please make sure to follow me here and over on YouTube to catch the ones that don't. But let's talk about why these events weren't brought up in A Year in the Life, because there actually was something else going on. When I worked on A Year in the Life, I would attend the production meetings. This is where the heads of department would meet. They would talk about what was in the script and what needed to happen. There were several times where I would hear Amy mention to the super fans, because we legit had super fans working on the show, that would correct or let them know that there was something that happened in season 7 that they needed to be aware of that would negate whatever was mentioned in the script. Why did they have these super fans? Was it because they did not remember? No, it was because they never saw season 7. I know it seems shocking to you, a fan of Gilmore Girls, that they would never have watched season 7, but remember, it wasn't their season. They left the show because contract negotiations broke down. They were very upset, and it really didn't matter. The superfans were there to fact check anything that was in the script, and if there was something that conflicted with whatever they had said, they would try to work it out, unless they just didn't care. And I don't know if there was a moment, because I wasn't in the rooms when those things happened, as to facts that the superfans brought up. And the superfans were literally our production assistants in the production office, and I think one of our production coordinators. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, anything that did happen in season 7 lives in its own world. And any inconsistencies that happened in A Year in the Life that were referenced in season 7 just did not exist. Here's a little timeline to put things into perspective. ATX happened in June of 2015. Several months later, on October 19th, 2015, there's a press release saying that Amy is in contract negotiations to do the revival. February 2nd, 2016 is when we started production. 3 months. Amy and Dan had 3 months to write scripts. They weren't watching every single episode of Gilmore Girls trying to refresh their brain as to what had happened. They didn't have that kind of time. It wasn't that they didn't care. It's that literally they were working with where they had ended the show and what they thought the characters would be doing in those times. And obviously, we all know that they did not watch season 7 at any point in time. And I doubt that they probably even watched Gilmore Girls after leaving the show, because it probably hurt too much knowing that they had this wonderful thing that they had created taken away from them. Now, if we want to include season 7 as canon, which I don't, I'm Team Marty, by the way, because you know what? Season 7 doesn't exist in my mind. As far as what happened on that campaign trail and why was she not still working for the administration, I don't know. Make it make sense. Let me know what your theory is, and let's have a nice little discussion.